feeling the pressure. Prices that keep rising and shrinking our budgets. Inflation is creating a weight that is hard for many to carry. This week, we'll show you just how much inflation is impacting our lives, how small businesses are finding ways to fight past it.
There's always a need for little places like this.
And what plans politicians have to help ease costs. This is The Race. There we go. All right, this week we are in Chicago, obviously one of the great food cities in America, and you're probably feeling this right now. The cost of eating is just more. Food prices are at historic highs. You're seeing it at restaurants, you're seeing it at grocery stores. And while we are all being impacted by inflation right now, for certain communities, religions, and cultures, the issue is a little more complicated.
This is our Three Sisters garden. We grew Bear Island corn. Some of the beans are still here. You see some of the squash vines.
Janie Pochel is walking me through this garden tucked inside a Chicago neighborhood where she helps grow indigenous foods.
Wild rice only grows in certain places, and to get like the good stuff that you have to go to that community to get it. And if you could buy it in the store, the price of it would be like out of our price range.
To Chicago's large Native American population, food is about more than a meal. It's a connection to culture, and that makes inflation more than just an inconvenience.
I did a dinner last year about November, and then the cost of that same dinner now have almost doubled.
Wow. I met with chef Jessica Walks First. She runs a catering business that specializes in Native American food.
It's not everywhere that sells true wild rice or whole corn or even bison. So trying to source those ingredients at a price that's reasonable has just been like a nightmare.
I have my wild rice in the cooler here, and then in the trunk I have my whole corn in another cooler and dry ice.
She relies on authentic ingredients grown on reservations hours away.
As you can see, I'm tired, but this is what is working right now.
She sent me this video from her most recent trip to get ingredients herself. She says shipping costs are so high right now, it's cheaper for her to drive, sometimes 2 states away.
I don't know how long I can keep it up, but I will do what I need to do to keep my business going during these, rising prices and crazy inflation.
Overall food costs have gone up at the highest rate since the 1970s this year, but we found the cost of several foods critical to culture, health, and religion have gone up even more.
Even though we started just in March, where already the prices had already escalated significantly.
We went to this new nonprofit grocery store on the south side that's trying to provide healthier food options in a part of the city where sugary and fried foods are offered on many corners.
These are not luxuries. They're not they're not trends. They're not fads.
Sana Syed also says it's one of the few places where people can find halal foods, which many Muslims rely on. But the day we visited, the shelves were bare.
Supply chain issues have certainly created inconsistency in our in our ability to have halal foods in stock.
Many experts predict high prices and supply chain issues will stick around through the end of the year.
And I get emotional about this. It's a dream come true. I mean, I come from a small reservation where many people don't realize their dreams.
And keep people like Jessica fighting to provide food that tells a story.
You may not live out in the country.
When I grocery shop, I'm cutting back on all the extras.
But you probably relate to Rebecca Boisvenu.
When we first started hearing about inflation, I didn't expect to see it so dramatically.
Indeed, 40-year high inflation rates continue to dominate everything from politics to the grocery store.
Did you tell me right you have 9 children?
9 children.
Of course, larger families are feeling it even more with the cost of food. And this is why Rebecca is out on the farm today, here at Little Farmer Meats in Watertown, Wisconsin. Rebecca buys an entire animal or half an animal to save money. She freezes the meat and then uses it throughout the year.
Buying from the farmer, you're paying a per pound price, which is is, I mean, it's an amazing deal.
Of course, Rebecca can't do that with everything she buys, which is why, as she prepares to head to the polls this November, inflation will be top of mind. Pinching pennies weighs on you.
It's definitely going to play a big part in how we vote.
It's pretty clear at this point that inflation is going to drive a lot of voters this midterm election. So it's important to know how Republicans and Democrats differ.
Let's start with the GOP. Republican leaders in the House recently announced their Commitment to America plan. It calls for cutting taxes and regulations on businesses, believing that can lower prices. They also want to limit government spending, with many Republicans placing blame on COVID funding, including stimulus checks, for creating inflation. The Republican plan, which would only become reality if they control Congress after the midterm, calls for increased oil and gas drilling in the U.S., too, to lower the cost of fuel. Democrats, though, have an entirely different vision. Leaders have called for increased taxes on wealthier Americans so government spending can increase to help offset price hikes. There are discussions about bringing back the expanded child tax credit if they maintain control of Congress, as well as voting on limits to how much parents can pay for child care. Back on the farm,
people are looking for ways to save money.
Farmer Kara Olson says it's clear people aren't waiting for Washington to help solve inflation. They're taking matters into their own hands.
Reach out to a local farmer.
Her business, as well as others, is booming. She's booked with orders until spring. As for this fall's election, Rebecca believing moms like her will make the difference.
We talk about what's going on and the changes that we see.
In Watertown, Wisconsin, I'm Joe St. George.
If you feel like someone has taken a hammer to your retirement savings lately and broken it to pieces, alas, you are not alone.
So it's a good time to recalibrate and look at how am I allocating my money.
But as I found out, there is no reason to send your proverbial piggy bank to market right now.
This is a good time to pour as much money into the stock market in a consistent, long-term way.
Long-term, I would say for most people, their retirement strategies should remain unchanged.
In fact, quite the opposite. Financial planner Jane O'Mara told me if you can't afford it, now's the time to really start saving for retirement.
Sometimes they say, you know, when it feels the absolute worst to be putting money into the market, that can be, in fact, some of the best times to invest.
If there's a positive to this inflationary period we're in, it's that Americans are no longer setting their retirement plans on auto drive.
I think the vast majority of Americans don't check their account balances on a daily basis.
But if you're retiring within the next 2 years, some things to consider. Don't pay off any fixed rate loans if your interest rates are low. If you can postpone retiring even for just 6 months to a year, that could help boost your savings. And finally,
whatever you do, don't take your Social Security early if you can avoid it.
But what if your retirement plans are in the next 10 to 20 years? Some things to consider. Put as much as you can into index funds and let that money grow over time. Look for higher rates of interest on savings accounts to maximize money while it sits. And if you need to pull money from a retirement account early, make a plan to put it back in quickly.
I think you have to be more careful and just intentional than ever in an inflation environment.
If you're on sort of the younger side, you know, keep doing what you're doing.
No matter what's in your piggy bank right now, ways to weather the dropping hammer of economic uncertainty. I'm Chris Conti.
The race continues next.